you think the tax code's really boring until you start realizing how much money it's saving you and making you, and suddenly it becomes pretty darn good reading. Not all doctors are good, not all pilots are good, not all CPAs are good, not all wealth managers are good.
It's great to hear that, Justin, for the last, well, definitely since the beginning of this company, but over 15 years, every single December, I teach a tax strategy class and also wealth management and investing because it's absolute truth. Because the reality is, and we've talked about this, most of the people, pretty much everybody here, are going to be the higher tax brackets. Because if you are ultra wealthy, you are going to do everything you can to find people to help you manage and minimize the amount of taxes you had to pay. I think that we need to take ownership of our personal well-being, but it's also very intimidating. And I
Yes.
think when you're talking to clients and you've got wealthy clients, other institutions, corporate clients and stuff like that, there's this like, I know I need to do something about it, or I need to talk to a wealth manager, but it's just a small amount. Is it really going to make a difference? And Warren Buffett and everybody talks about the magic of compounding over time, but there's the magic of compounding the return. Then there's the magic of reducing your tax basis and then compounding from that standpoint. Can you give us, as an audience, and I know it was a wide range of backgrounds, and we have an international audience as well, how should we think about tax strategy as a function of investing and returns?
Yes. So the first thing you want to do, guys, is find a reason to create an LLC. So you can be a W-2, but have an LLC. And if any of y'all want to talk to our firm about that, this is what we do this all the time. I can't tell you how many successful, sophisticated, wealthy people are like, wait a minute, why? And you start describing the way fully legal and above board that, look, for all of our flaws, the United States still, all policies are still the most entrepreneurial driven policy, whether it's intentional or unintentional in the world by far. It's phenomenal how the tax structure is set up to have you bootstrap yourself. So create an LLC. That's number one as it comes to tax structure. Number two is if you don't know it, find a friend. It You think the tax code's really boring until you start realizing how much money it's saving you and making you, and suddenly it becomes pretty darn good reading. So due to AI and whatnot, just cross-reference it. Um, I would, go find out what's new in the new tax bill that may benefit you. And you can, again, you guys are smarter than I am in tech in here.
Worst case scenario, we could GPT it at this point.
Exactly. Just buying strategies. Then you want to, again, you want to back it up and corroborate with not all CPAs are good. I mean, here's the thing that's unfortunate is it's sort of like, you know, not all doctors are good, not all pilots are good, not all CPAs are good, not all wealth managers are good. When I was, do you guys all remember when we were all kids and you thought, oh, it's a doctor. They're fantastic. All doctors are great at their jobs. All lawyers should be good at their jobs, but they're not. It's just like anything else. So don't assume that your CPA is the end all be all and the judge and jury. Oftentimes that's just not the case. You do 10 tax returns, 10 different CPAs, they're going to get 10 different results, which is insane. And that's a whole other conversation. But to JP's point, I promise y'all, get yourself educated a little bit on the current tax code and how it applies to you, and you'll be better off for it. I'll share something with y'all. Again, if you're of an age and you're coming into more and more success, or you already have a wealth manager, I'll give you guys a couple questions I want you to ask if you're interviewing wealth managers. Um, Number one, are you a fiduciary? It doesn't cure everything because there are people who are fiduciaries who still do some questionable behavior, but at least it's one layer because the fiduciary oath and what they're required to do with their license is put their client's best interest first. That's one. Let's get to the real guts of the questions I would ask. I would ask, do you have any third party interests? And then don't let them say, oh yeah, but and dive in on this, y'all, because you're going to pay them a fee, which if they're good at their job, that's great. Maybe they make 1%, maybe they make 1.5%. Whatever their fee is to manage your money is a really good deal if they're good at their jobs. Trust me, that's a really affordable percentage to pay if they're good at their jobs. But then here's the problem. Are they selling third party mutual funds, ETFs, annuities, and all kinds of crap. Um, and if they are, because 9 times out of 10 they are, they're not building this stuff themselves in-house. It's not handcrafted ice cream, so to speak. They're buying it from somebody else. That somebody else has an embedded fee you may not be seeing. I promise you it's 50 bips or 75 or sometimes even a full point if it's some exciting, space exploration up and coming thing that if for $100,000, JP Morgan, and again, I don't mean to, Jamie Dimon's brilliant, largest investment bank in the world. Who am I to, I'm not in any way criticizing them other than to say, ask them. Ask your money manager, if you want to put me in this cool proprietary vehicle, what is the expense for the luxury or the privilege of getting in this vehicle? It's X amount of money. Now, what I would argue is, and how the wealthiest people in the world do it, is their wealth managers are building the proprietary models, as we call them, portfolios for them. Just as much as a chef will make a meal to order, I would ask your wealth advisors, can you build it for me? Now, some of them, they don't have the capability or they don't have a chief investment officer who has the chops to do that. And so they're buying third-party stuff. But again, I don't mean to be too long-winded on this, but I'll tell you, JP, one of the most fulfilling things when I made this career switch, when I started peeling back the onion on the business that I'm in today, is who's got a conflict of interest. Put it this way, a year ago right now, I got a phone call from a household name wholesaler, as we call them. And this guy calls me up and says, Justin, I would like to send you and your family to stay at, I think, the Ritz Beaver Creek or whatever, in some private residence, ski in, ski out, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, oh, would you now? We're friendly, but you're not my friend. And no one gives away $30,000 ski trips. What can I do for you? What are you looking for, man? Just talk to me. Well, I'm not, there's no obligation, but it would be great if you'd push our family of blah, 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 blah. And I said, man, I really appreciate it, but I just can't do that. That will always be my answer on that phone call, because if I do accept that trip, it doesn't mean the funds he was pushing or the assets that he was pushing are inherently bad. They could actually be quite high quality. But the problem, and so I may push them or I may not, but I'm certainly not going to do it because of some kickback.